Let's talk about functions and relations. A relation is a set of ordered pairs. Lots of things are relations. Let's look at a few examples. Here's an example of a relation with only 3 ordered pairs. They are -3, 4, -2, 2, and -1, 4. This is a different relation with a whole lot of ordered pairs. It includes -6, 0 on the very left end, 0, 3 at the top, 0, 0 in the middle, 1, 1 in this region. All of these shaded points correspond to ordered pairs belonging to this relation. Now let's look at a different relation that might be more familiar to you, the Humboldt State University logo. Basically, anything you might want to draw in the plane with one color is an example of a relation. Now, a function is a special kind of relation. In the case of a function, x-coordinates are never repeated. Let's take a look at some examples of functions. This is our very first relation. It's also a function because the x-coordinate -3 happens once, the x-coordinate -2 happens once, the x-coordinate -1 happens once. X-coordinates are not repeated in the case of this relation. This is a different relation that is also a function. Every x-coordinate gets exactly one y value. -6 is the x-coordinate belonging to this point, -6, -3. There's no other point on this line with an x-coordinate of -6. The x-coordinate of 4 also occurs only once. It's this point 4, something between 0 and 1. Here's another example of a function, more complicated one, but you'll notice that every point on this curve gets its own x-coordinate. So this is the only point on the curve with an x-coordinate of -6. This is the only point on the curve with an x-coordinate of -4. And this is the only point on the curve with an x-coordinate of 3. One way to tell whether a relation is a function is by applying what is called the vertical line test. And it goes like this. You sweep a vertical line across the relation looking for where they meet. If the vertical line meets the relation only one time, for example here, they meet in 1 point. Here, 1 point. Here, 1 point. The vertical line consistently crosses the relation in only 1 point, so it is a function. So let's go back to an earlier relation that we saw, and we'll try the vertical line test on it. We sweep this vertical line across, and you'll notice, at this particular instant, the vertical line touches the relation in only 1 point. Great. But if it goes any further, now this vertical line meets the relation on a whole line segment of points. That's a whole bunch of points right there that belong to the relation. That means all of these points have an x-coordinate of -4. This x-coordinate is repeated many, many times, infinitely many in fact. This means that this relation is not a function. It has failed the vertical line test. Likewise, the Humboldt State University logo, or for that matter just about any piece of clip art, will fail the vertical line test. Here, let's check that out. We'll bring in a vertical line, drop it on our relation somewhere, and in this case we can see that the vertical line crosses the u and the t. Automatically that means it's met the relation in at least 2 points, which means that we have failed the vertical line test. Take a look at this relation. Do you think it passes the vertical line test? Imagine sweeping a vertical line across this graph. Does it cross it more than once? You might try using your pencil as a vertical line. Why don't you pause right now and see if you can figure out whether this relation is or is not a function. Well, let's see. If we sweep this vertical line across the relation, we see 1 point of intersection that whole time. This is a function.